Hey guys, if you're interested in any figures or figure accessories that I have currently up for sale, go ahead and send me an email. Just go to my channel page on YouTube and go to the About section, click on that, and you'll be able to get in touch with me. How's it going, my fellow collectors? I am back once more to bring you another 1/6 scale figure review. And this time I present to you guys John J. Rambo from Stallone shop. A prototype of this figure has already been released and reviewed. Dean Knight and Justin from Justin's Collections have already reviewed this prototype piece, but this is the final product figure. As for that prototype, a lot of people were not happy with the head sculpt of that prototype. And this figure that you see before you, the final product piece, has had a lot of changes since that prototype piece, I can tell you that now. And we're going to get into all of that in this review. So as usual, we're going to start off with the first category being the source information. So I've covered the source information from this movie on the 3-0 Rambo figure. And if you guys want to hear my thoughts on that movie, just go ahead and check out that review. As for the score, I gave it a 10 out of 10. So there you go. And I did just get this figure in today, so I'm very excited to see what I can do with it. Okay, so that does it for this category. Now we're going to move on to the next one. Okay, so now we've made it to the category of packaging. And I really like this packaging, actually. The artwork that they came up with is really nice. I believe it was Sylvester Stallone's idea to use this art print. I've seen other memorabilia and merchandise have this art print on it on his shop, such as t-shirts and things like that. They have this art print on it. So pretty good artist rendition of John Rambo. So we'll start off from the top and work our way down. So on the top it says Rambo First Blood 1/6 scale collectible action figure. And we've already talked about the image in the middle there. On the bottom, he's pretty much holding up a sign for a mugshot that they've taken of him. It says John J. Rambo, October 22nd, 1982, Hope, British Columbia. And on one side of the box it says Rambo First Blood with sort of a continuation of the image on the front. And on the other side, same thing. And on the back, it shows a picture of the figure and all of its accessories. And on the bottom is the information of the Sly Stallone shop along with the logo. And below that is the warnings and stuff that nobody really reads. Rambo box art created by John Rivoli. And on the bottom left, you get the Millennium Media logo. And on the right of the box, it says the product images shown are for illustration purposes only and may not be an exact representation of the product. And on the top, it says the Stallone Legacy Collection presents John J. Rambo 1/6 scale collectible figure, and you get Sylvester Stallone's autograph. And once we remove the slipcover, we get the inner box with a window displaying the figure and all of its accessories. But as you can see, I already took the figure out. And on the top, it says Rambo First Blood 1/6 scale collectible action figure. On the bottom is the information of the Sly Stallone shop again with the logo. And then on the back, you get a silhouette of Sylvester Stallone as John Rambo. And just below that, it says supervision and direction by Sylvester Stallone. So he was in charge of overseeing the production of this figure. And then you get the warnings and choking hazards and stuff that nobody really reads. And as you can see, my box came a little dented and dinged. As you can see on the top and on the bottom as well. But that's okay, it's no big deal. The DHL guys should have taken better care of it, obviously. But I'm not much of a box collector, I don't really care about the boxes. As long as they're not too messed up, you know? But yeah, all in all, the box is pretty good, so I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10. Alright, so that takes care of the packaging. Now we're gonna move on to the next category. The box also comes in this brown shipper that comes from the Stallone shop. And as you can see, it says Rambo First Blood 1/6 scale collectible action figure. And it says the same thing on the back. Nothing on the bottom, and yeah, that's about it for that. Alright, so we've made it to the category of likeness. And I'm really impressed with it, I gotta tell you guys. The prototype figure that was reviewed by Dean Knight and Justin from Justin's Collection, people were saying that he looked too sad, and he did have bloodshot eyes on that prototype piece. But with the final product, which is this figure here, they removed the bloodshot eyes and made them like normal eyes. And I guess he looks less sad, but he does have sort of an angry frown on his mouth. Slightly, very minimal. If you could just see the frowning of his lips right there. So I think that's everything they changed. Honestly, I just would have preferred to have a normal, neutral look. But, you know, this isn't bad. As for the accuracy to Sylvester Stallone, it is there, but I think they could have done better. The Caustic Plastic team has done better before. This head sculpt was sculpted and painted by the same Caustic Plastic team that made the Rocky Balboa from Rocky 1. And that Rocky head sculpt, I gotta say, is probably 100% accurate to what Sylvester Stallone looked like during that time in Rocky 1. But I can't say the same about this figure. I'm gonna say it's about 90% accurate to what Sylvester Stallone looked like during the shooting of First Blood. I do like the detail on the face that they added, such as the stubble on the face, the 5 o'clock shadow. The hair was done good, but yeah, I don't know. It's just not all there. I can't quite put my finger on it, but yeah. Like I said, it's about 90% accurate. So I'll give it an 8 for the likeness. And as for this pose, it's when he first arrived in the sheriff's department. They just took the cuffs off him and he's massaging his wrists. And Deputy Galt is asking his name to type up the police report. But obviously he doesn't answer him, and that makes Deputy Galt pretty angry. Alright, so that does it for the likeness category. Now we're going to move on to the next. Okay, so now we've made it to the category of outfit. And I'm just going to come right out and say it. I really dig this outfit. It's awesome. I guess we'll start from the top and work our way down to the bottom. So his dog tags, let me just show you guys those real quick. Alright, so his dog tags are made of actual die-cast metal. And they do have engraved writing on them. And they do say Rambo John J on them. And they do have all the information that your standard issue military dog tags would have, such as your date of birth and blood type. So I'm really impressed that they managed to put all that on there, because I don't think any other company has been able to do that. Even Hot Toys, correct me if I'm wrong, Hot Toys has made dog tags in the past, such as the dog tags from the X-Men Origins Wolverine figure. but they weren't this detailed. They weren't engraved and they were made of plastic. So yeah, that's really cool. I had them tucked under his shirt because that's how he wore them in the movie. That's why I had to pull them out just a second ago. Moving on to the military green jacket that he has. It's really, really nice, and I gotta say, it's 100% accurate to how it looked in the movie. They even got the weathering down, it's dirtied up. He's got the flag on the jacket, and it does say US Army on the other side. Actual working pockets in the front here, so you can put his hands in his pockets as if he was walking in the cold. And you can also pop up his collar like he does in the movie. And it does have the zipper on the collar underneath. So yeah, it's a really sweet jacket. Going back to the prototype of this figure, another thing that they changed from the prototype to the final product is the zipper. They used to have a long, thick tab for the zipper, and that was pretty ugly. I gotta tell you guys the truth. It was out of scale. It was too big. If I have an image, I'll bring it up right now. But yeah, they changed it to this smaller tab with a tassel attached to it. I don't think they had the tassel in the prototype. Hey guys, editing Mega Man X here. It turns out that the prototype of this figure did have this exact same zipper tab and tassel as the one you see before you now. It was my mistake. I confused the zipper tab from the Hot Toys version with the green jacket. That one was the one with the big ugly zipper tab that wasn't in scale with the figure. So I just wanted to clear that up. Okay, back to this regularly scheduled programming. The buttons look good, and moving on down to the tassels on the bottom of the jacket. They are a little long, but I'm okay with that. It's no big deal. You can cut them if you want to make them shorter, but I'm not going to do that. And moving on, he's also got the red long sleeve shirt underneath the jacket, which is also accurate to what he wore in the movie. It also has some weathering, so it's a little dirtied up. So yeah, he has that tucked into his jeans. And he also has a pleather belt that's wrapped around his waist. And you guys know how I feel about pleather. My main concern is that it's going to deteriorate over time. I know it will, it's just a question of time. If you take care of it, it'll last longer. But eventually it will fall apart. And the same thing with the holster for the knife. It's also made of pleather. So the black belt and the knife holster, I'm not going to say that they're exactly the same as the 3-0 figure, but they're very, very similar. So yeah, since they're both made of pleather material, take good care of those things, guys, when you receive your copy of this figure. Moving on to the jeans. They're regular denim jeans. They feel like they're made of cotton, but nevertheless, they're done good. The stitching is good. The weathering is done nice as well. They're not clean either. They're kind of dirtied up. One thing about the knife holster, when you take it out of the packaging, it is already tied to the leg, but it untied on me and I had to retie it. So just be mindful of that. That might happen to you. And then moving on down to the boots. These are pleather boots with real working laces. So I am disappointed that the Stallone shop decided to go with pleather boots. They could have easily given us sculpted boots like the ones on the 3-0 figure. That would have been a much better choice. But anyway, they still have good weathering. You can see on his toes there, it looks like he's been trekking through different towns. And some people have a problem with the length of the laces, but it doesn't really bother me. They say that they're too long. When you take it out of the packaging, they come already tied, and they look good, so I'm not going to be doing any changes to the laces. So yeah, really nice with the outfit. So I just have him here standing. He's just sharpened his knife, and he's getting ready to go on his merry way to drift through some towns. He's about to holster his knife and getting ready to travel. So as for the outfit, you know what? I think I'm gonna have to give it a 9 out of 10. They've done a lot of improvements since the prototype figure, and it's all for the best. The reason that it's not gonna get a 10 out of 10 is because of all the pleather material on the outfit. If it wasn't for that, then yeah, I'd get a 10 out of 10. But as it stands, it gets a 9. Alright, so that takes care of the outfit category. Now we're going to move on to the next one. Okay, so we've made it to the category of articulation. And as usual, we'll start from the top and work our way down to the bottom. So the head is on a ball and socket joint at the top of the neck, and it also has a ball and socket joint at the base of the neck. Going down to the shoulders, good articulation there. You can rotate the arms a full 360 degrees around. Good shoulder shrug. Decent butterfly joints. Not too great because of the broad chest. And it's got single bend elbows. So that does hinder some articulation. There's some poses that I couldn't get him into because of the elbow bend. The wrists have your standard 1/6 scale articulation and wrist pegs as well. They do look a little different, but they work just the same. I'll show you those in the accessories category. But yeah, they work pretty much the same articulation wise. The same as a Hot Toys wrist peg. And as for the ab crunch, it's pretty good. Bends forwards and backwards pretty well. And also has side to side movement just as well. And he can rotate his torso a decent amount. He's got pretty good articulation at the waist as well. And as for the hip to thigh area, the articulation there is pretty good too. He kicks forward about 40 degrees. Doesn't kick backward that much. He's got double bended knees, which is good. As for the splits, I think he could do them, but he's hindered by the jeans. As for the ankles, they're pretty good as well. On mine, they're slightly loose, but not that much. Hopefully that's not the case with your guys' copy. But yeah, they got good articulation, but since they are a little loose, he can't stand up on his own. And the ankles aren't hindered at all by the boots since they are a pleather material. They can pretty much move whichever way you want, up, down, and rock from side to side. They also have a 360 degree rotation all the way around. I have been tempted to take off the clothes to see what kind of body we're dealing with, but I'm just too worried. He's got a lot of intricate parts on his outfit. So I'm just worried that it's going to be too difficult to try to put it back on, or something else like that. Another thing that worries me is the black pleather belt that's around his waist. I don't want to mess that up either. So I'd rather not mess around with his outfit to try to take it off. But nevertheless, I am still curious to see the body. I'm wondering if the Sly Stallone shop went the full 9 yards and sculpted the scars on his chest and back and all that. If you guys want to let me know when you guys get your copy, just leave your comments below this video. So as for the articulation, it feels like a standard Hot Toys True Type body to me. So yeah, I'm going to say that the articulation is pretty good, but not great, not awesome. So I'm going to give the articulation an 8 out of 10. If it weren't for those elbows, we should have gotten double bend elbows. That would have given it another point. Or maybe it would have even become a 10 out of 10. But as it stands, it's an 8 out of 10. I just want to talk you guys through this pose. I know he doesn't do any action in this appearance until later on in the movie, but I just got him in a knife stance, a combat knife stance. Alright, so stay tuned while we head into the next category. Okay, so now we've made it to the category of accessories. But before we start talking about the accessories, I just want to show you guys this pose. All you Rambo fans out there will probably recognize this. This pose wasn't in the movie, but there is an image of Sylvester Stallone as Rambo in this pose, holding a cup of coffee or whatever was in that disposable cup he had. So I just decided to create that pose. It's not exactly accurate. He had his sleeping bag slung over his shoulder, but it was in a different position. I just can't get the elbow to bend that far. So yeah, that's the best I can do. Alright, getting back to the accessories. We'll start with the hands as usual. He comes with a total of 8 hands, and they're all very detailed. So as you can see, the paint job is excellent. But these are standard True Type Hot Toys hands. So if you were to get the Hot Toys True Type narrow shoulder body, these are the hands that it would come with, just not as detailed with the paint. So as you can see, they did paint the nails with the white color at the tips. So that's pretty cool. It makes them look more realistic. I like that a lot. Also, another thing about these hands, they're very malleable. They're made of like a soft plastic, so you won't have any trouble at all switching out the hands or having him hold things. For example, the coffee cup that he's holding right now. I didn't have any trouble putting that in his hands because his fingers and hands, they're just very malleable. They'll bend very easily, so you don't have to worry about that. So yeah, he comes with a pair of fists, a pair of relaxed hands, and a pair of gun-holding hands, even though he doesn't come with any guns. And he also comes with a pair of gripping hands, so he can hold his knife or the strap of his sleeping bag. And he also comes with a spare pair of wrist pegs, just in case you break the ones that are already on him. And as you can see, the design of them is different from your standard Hot Toys wrist pegs. They are uglier. It kind of takes away from the aesthetics of the figure with this design. I wish it was just a little bit more seamless, like the Hot Toys wrist pegs, or even the 3-0 wrist pegs for that matter. Because as you can see, the screws are pretty visible and the seam lines are very pronounced. Where you move the joints, it's very visible. So I wish they designed the wrist pegs just a little bit better. Some people will probably not have a problem with that because, they'll probably try to hide them with the sleeves of the jacket or whatever. But it does kind of bother me. It also comes with a knife. And it is a plastic knife, just like the 3-0 Rambo First Blood figure. Speaking of that knife, it is very, very similar to this one. There are a few differences. The handle looks like it was made differently. And also the compass. It does have a removable compass at the base of the handle, just like the 3-0 one. But this one is a really, really tight fit. It's very hard to take out, so just be mindful of that. And just like the 3-0 knife, it is made of plastic. For the same reason, they didn't want any children playing with sharp metal objects, so they decided not to make it die-cast metal. I'm gonna show you guys the compass right now, just give me 1 second. So it is a very tight fit, just like I said before. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. And I gotta say that I think I like this compass more than the 3-0 one. Just the design is a lot better than the 3-0 one. So that takes care of the knife. Moving on, he also comes with his sleeping bag. And I haven't tried it, but I'm pretty sure you can unroll it. It does have some Velcro straps, but I haven't tried it because I don't want to go through the hassle of rolling it up and trying to make it look good again. But the weathering has been done very excellently on it. As you can see, it's also dirtied up. It's not clean. It's got stains all over it and such, so real nice. It also has a tab for a zipper. As you can see, the zipper is right there. So I'm wondering if it's a fully functional sleeping bag. That'd be cool if it was. Moving on, he also comes with this awesome base. Whoever sculpted and painted this base, they killed it. It's really nice. The paint job and everything, the cracks. You can tell that it's just an old beat up road. And then you also got a partial manhole cover right there, which is also done really well with the rust on the lid and everything. I'm very impressed with this base. That alone, whew, it deserves its own point for accessories. And it comes with a standard crotch grabber pole. And finally, we get the card with the print from the box. It's the same print, just smaller. It says Rambo First Blood, 1/6 scale collectible action figure. And on the back of the card, it shows you the rundown of the entire team that worked on the figure. So you got Fabio Veresi, the head guy that worked on the figure. Inigo Gil, both of those guys I know for a fact are a part of Caustic Plastic, the company. And so is Dario Barbera. So yeah, they did a really good job. And as you can see on the top, supervision and direction by Sylvester Stallone. So yeah, real nice. It's weird that it didn't come with an instruction manual though. The accessories, even though it doesn't come with much, he could have come with a pair of handcuffs. So, you can put them on him like if he got arrested. I don't know, maybe another head sculpt. Maybe a head sculpt of him smiling like he did at the beginning of the movie when he was about to go visit his old friend Delmar Berry. When he thought he was still alive, but shortly thereafter he found out he was dead. So yeah, they could have gave us a smiling head sculpt. That would have been nice. But as for the previous head sculpt that was shown in the prototype, I didn't really have a problem with it, because that's pretty much who John Rambo embodied. They got rid of that in the later sequels, because in the first movie he was pretty much a borderline schizophrenic crazy. You know? Anyone who would go through a war like Vietnam probably would be. And I think that head sculpt from the prototype embodied that very well. With the bloodshot eyes and everything and the sad look that he had. But I guess people couldn't grasp that. So because of that, they changed it to this. But, that's not to say that this head sculpt is bad either. It's really nice. Both of them are really good. But, we could have kept that other head sculpt with the bloodshot eyes. It could have come as an extra head sculpt. So, as it stands, the accessories is going to get an 8 out of 10. Alright, so stick around, guys, while we add up the scores and wrap up this review. Alright, so to add up the scores and wrap up this review, guys, this figure gets a 53 out of 60. Which is not bad. Would I recommend this figure? Yes. If you are a Rambo fan, then definitely pick this up. The guys from Caustic Plastic and Sylvester Stallone's direction, they did an awesome job. Even though it has minor flaws, but those are just nitpicks of mine. Don't take them too closely to heart. I still love this figure, it's really good. If you guys have a chance to pick this up at a good price, then don't skip out on it. But just to show you guys a comparison, here it is with the Caustic Plastic Rocky Balboa figure from Rocky 1. So you can see the frown on his mouth here on Rambo, as opposed to the neutral mouth that he has here on Rocky. And also the nose, it's also different. The Rambo one is a little bit more rounder, and this one is a little bit more pointier, which is a lot more accurate to how Sylvester Stallone looked during the shooting of Rocky. So, if they just would have incorporated those things into this Rambo figure, it would have made it look that much more accurate to Sylvester Stallone's likeness. And another comparison, here we have it with the 3-0 Rambo from First Blood. So you guys make your own opinions about those two head sculpts. But that about wraps up this review, guys. So I want to thank you all for tuning in. If you guys haven't subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and do so. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. But until next time, guys, I shall catch you all later on the tube. Alright, bye guys.